It started like any other travel day. Or so I thought. I remember the chill of the airport air conditioning, the low hum of conversations, the squeak of suitcase wheels on the polished floor. I was heading to a crucial meeting, one I'd spent months preparing for. Success felt close, tangible. I'd booked a first-class ticket on sky-high airlines weeks in advance. I needed the comfort, the quiet space to gather my thoughts before landing. I earned it, every single penny I possessed, I had worked for, tirelessly, building my company from the ground up. I walked towards the gate, feeling confident, ready. My heels clicked softly, a rhythm of purpose. I reached the counter, offered a polite smile, and handed over my passport and boarding pass. The gate agent, a woman with tired eyes and a tight mouth, barely glanced at me. She tapped on her keyboard, her expression unchanging. Then she looked up, but not really at me. More through me. "I'm sorry," she said, her voice flat, devoid of any real apology. "This seat is unavailable." I blinked. "Unavailable. But I have my boarding pass right here. Seat 2A. It was confirmed. She shook her head, a small sharp movement. "There's been a change, the seat is taken." My smile faltered. "Taken? By who? I booked this months ago. Is there an equipment change? A mistake?" "The seat is occupied," she repeated, her tone hardening slightly. "We can put you in economy." My heart started to beat faster, not with panic, but with a familiar sinking feeling, a feeling I knew too well. I looked past her, towards the plane. I saw people boarding, laughing, settling in. I saw the entryway to the first-class cabin. "Can you please check again?" I asked, keeping my voice calm, measured. "There must be some error." She sighed, a theatrical sound of impatience. "There's no error, we don't have a first-class seat for you." She looked down at her screen, then back up, her gaze finally meeting mine, but it was cold. "Perhaps," she added, lowering her voice slightly, but loud enough for the man behind me to hear, "you'd be more comfortable in the back anyway." The implication hung heavy in the air, thick, suffocating. My skin prickled. The man behind me shifted awkwardly. Suddenly I wasn't just a passenger with a ticket issue. I was being assessed, judged, dismissed, right here, in public. Based on what? My tailored suit? The color of my skin? My breath caught in my throat. Fury, cold and sharp, began to rise within me, but I wouldn't give her the satisfaction of seeing me lose control. I'd faced boardrooms tougher than this. I took a deep breath. I paid for first class. I have confirmation. I expect to sit in the seat I paid for. Just then, a man, white, dressed in a golf shirt and khaki shorts, hurried up to the counter, cutting in line beside me. "Sorry, almost missed it," he puffed, flashing a pass. The agent's demeanor changed instantly. A smile bloomed on her face. "Right this way, sir," she said warmly, gesturing towards the jet bridge. "We saved your seat." I watched him stride past me, towards the first-class cabin. Towards, I suspected, seat 2A. My seat. The injustice of it slammed into me. It wasn't an overbooking, it wasn't a system glitch. It was deliberate, it was discrimination, plain and simple. The agent turned back to me, her face settling back into that indifferent mask. "Now, about that economy seat." Something inside me snapped. Not loudly, quietly, dangerously. The months of preparation for my meeting, the years of hard work, the constant need to prove myself, the quiet slights endured over a lifetime. It all coalesced into a single point of searing clarity. I didn't argue anymore. I didn't raise my voice. I simply held her gaze. "No," I said softly. "Thank you." I stepped away from the counter. My mind was racing, but not with anger anymore. It was racing with purpose. The gate agent probably thought I was giving up, retreating. She probably felt a flicker of triumph. She couldn't have been more wrong. I pulled out my phone. My fingers flew across the screen, dialing a number I knew by heart. My chief investment officer. He answered on the first ring. "Amara," I said, my voice steady, calm. "Change of plans for today. Imani, is everything all right?" The meeting can wait," I interrupted gently. "I need you to do something for me, immediately." Sky High Airlines. Who owns them? Parent company? Major shareholders? There was a pause. Sky high. Let me check the files. They're publicly traded, but a holding company has the largest stake. Why? I want to buy it, I said. Silence. Then, buy. Sky high. The airline. He sounded stunned. Yes, Amara, the entire airline. Find out what it would take. Make an offer. A generous one. An offer they can't refuse. Use the private equity fund. Liquidate whatever assets necessary. I want controlling interest. And I want to start the process now. Imani, this is sudden. Are you sure? I looked back towards the gate. Towards the plane I was supposed to be on. Towards the woman who had tried to make me feel small. Perfectly sure, Amara, I said, a new kind of resolve hardening my voice. Consider it a necessary acquisition. Inform the board an emergency vote is required. I'll handle the fallout. Just get it done. I ended the call. My heart was pounding now, but not from humiliation. It was pounding with adrenaline, with the sheer audacity of what I was doing. It was insane. It was impulsive. It was perhaps the biggest business decision I had ever made, triggered by a moment of blatant disrespect. But it felt right. It felt necessary. I stood there for a few minutes, watching the final passengers board. The gate agent studiously ignored me, busy with paperwork. She probably thought I was calling someone to complain, maybe trying to get her in trouble. Little did she know. My phone buzzed again. It was Amara. Initial contact made with the holding company's reps. His text read, "They're surprised. But listening, offer presented. It's significantly above market value. They're convening their board." A small humorless smile touched my lips. Money talks. And I had worked very, very hard to make sure mine spoke volumes. The jet bridge began to retract. The ground crew started making preparations for departure. The gate agent finally closed the gate door, locking it with a decisive click. She turned, saw me still standing there, and her expression soured again. "Mom, the flight is closed. You'll need to go to customer service to rebook," she said dismissively, already gathering her things. I walked slowly back to the counter. She looked up, annoyed. "Yes, I won't be needing customer service," I said calmly. She frowned. "Well, you've missed your flight. I know, but I have a message for your supervisor, and for the pilot of that aircraft." She scoffed. "I'm not taking messages." "Oh, I think you will," I said, my voice quiet but carrying weight. "Please inform them that the new owner of Sky High Airlines is very displeased with the service today. Extremely displeased." Her eyes widened almost imperceptibly. A flicker of disbelief, then suspicion. "The new owner," she stammered. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about the fact," I said, leaning slightly closer, keeping my voice low, "that my investment team is currently in the process of acquiring a controlling stake in this entire company. The deal is moving very quickly. So, while I may have missed this flight, I assure you, things are about to change dramatically at Sky High Airlines." Her face went pale, utterly pale. The smugness vanished, replaced by dawning horror. She opened her mouth, then closed it again. She looked at me, really looked at me this time, searching my face, my eyes, the expensive but understated cut of my suit. She saw the confidence, the steel that had replaced the earlier hurt, and she started to believe. "You can't be serious," she whispered. "Deadly serious," I replied. My phone buzzed again, a confirmation email from Amara. The board had accepted the preliminary offer in principle. Due diligence would be swift. It was happening. "I suggest you inform your supervisor immediately. There are going to be some adjustments, starting from the top down." She stumbled back, reaching for her radio, her hand trembling. "Supervisor, urgent, need you at gate C14, immediately." Word travels fast in an airport. Within minutes whispers turned into wide-eyed stares. The supervisor arrived, breathless, his face a mixture of confusion and panic. The gate agent was frantically explaining, gesturing towards me. I simply stood there waiting. The supervisor approached me cautiously. "Mom, there seems to be some confusion." "There's no confusion," I stated clearly, "only consequences. Your gate agent denied me my confirmed, paid-for first-class seat, likely based on prejudice. In response, I have initiated the purchase of this airline. Effective soon I will be your boss, and the culture here, it will change. Discrimination. Intolerance, it ends today. His jaw dropped. He looked back and forth between me and the now terrified gate agent. He saw the confirmation email I briefly flashed on my phone screen. The blood drained from his face. The plane I was supposed to be on was still sitting at the gate, held back by a sudden unexplained ground stop order that Amara had cleverly managed to instigate through preliminary channels. Passengers peered out the windows, wondering about the delay. I apologize, the supervisor stammered, wringing his hands. This is unacceptable. We can get you on the plane right now. Seat 2A is absolutely available. There was a terrible mistake. I shook my head. No, it's too late for that seat. I no longer wish to fly on this particular aircraft. In fact, I added, glancing at my watch, my own jet should be here shortly to take me to my meeting. The supervisor and the gate agent just stared, speechless. The power dynamic had shifted so completely, so rapidly, it was almost dizzying. But for me it wasn't about gloating. It was about drawing a line. It was about turning a moment of deep personal insult into a catalyst for sweeping change. My private jet arrived, sleek and silent, pulling up to a private section of the tarmac. As I walked away from gate C14, leaving the stunned airline staff and the delayed flight behind, I didn't feel triumphant. I felt purposeful. Sad, perhaps, that it had taken something so drastic, but resolute. The purchase of Sky High Airlines went through. It was complex, expensive, and drew massive media attention, but it happened. And the first thing I did as the new majority owner, I implemented mandatory comprehensive anti-discrimination and sensitivity training for every single employee, from the baggage handlers to the board members. I diversified the leadership team. I instituted clear policies with zero tolerance for prejudice. I met the gate agent again, weeks later, during a company-wide town hall meeting I held. She sat in the audience, looking small and anxious. Our eyes met across the room. I didn't fire her. That felt too easy, too personal. Instead, she had to sit through the training, had to learn about the impact of her actions, had to work under the new policies implemented by the woman she had dismissed. That, I felt, was a more fitting consequence. Buying an airline wasn't just about revenge, it was about taking control of the narrative. It was about ensuring that no one else would ever have to feel the way I felt that day, standing at that gate, being judged for who they were. It was about using the power I had fought so hard to build, not just for myself, but to create a space where respect wasn't optional, but fundamental. My journey has been long, filled with obstacles I never anticipated. But every challenge, every slight, every moment of doubt, only fueled my determination. And that day at the airport, it became more than just an unpleasant memory. It became the day I turned injustice into an opportunity to reshape an entire company, and hopefully, inspire others to stand up against prejudice, wherever they encounter it. It cost a fortune, yes, but the price of dignity, that's priceless. Thank you for listening to this story. If it resonated with you, or if you believe in standing up against injustice, please give this video a thumbs up, leave a comment below sharing your thoughts, or maybe a time you turned a negative situation into something powerful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more stories like this, and please share this video with others who might find it inspiring. Your support helps us keep telling these important stories. Until next time.